Next
All right.
weekend being the first event of the year.
All right, here we go. Here we go. A little water to lube the pipes. Hello, my name is Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. I'm the host and creator. And the man next to me, Clayton Q, is going to be performing live. And so he has graciously agreed to come on Oscar Mike Radio. Clayton, welcome.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been really cool getting to talk to these artists who are supporting this event, yourself included. And I'm not a country fan per se. I'm more of a metalhead, but it's been educational getting to understand that, you know, for a guy like me, I think country's all the same. Country is still very, very different and, you know, layered. So
Yeah.
I was curious if you kind of tell me your background, how you got into performing.
Well, you know, I grew up around music. My family, every Christmas, every holiday, we gather around at my grandma's house. She'd sit in the middle of the room, and everyone had banjos and guitars and dulcimers. Some people don't even probably know what a dulcimer
I
is.
do.
That's good. And we gather around and play music, and a lot of old gospel songs and a lot of older country songs. And that was a huge foundation of me growing up with music around me, and huge influence. And I didn't know that there was anyone that didn't play music or sing. I thought everybody's family did that. You know, people at school be like, "What's a guitar?" Be like, "Oh man, my family plays." You know, it was fun. And I'd have like a couple friends that would come over around the holidays too. And I think maybe that influenced them in their music career also, seeing my family.
So this started out as a family event, and it was just part of your family makeup.
Right.
And the dulcimer is a cool instrument.
Yeah.
And
I don't play dulcimer personally, but it's very cool.
I like the hammered dulcimer myself. So, but I appreciate it. It's just it's an American instrument.
Yeah.
And it's very, you know, regional too. I mean, you grew up in Kentucky?
Yeah. Western Kentucky. The real Western Kentucky. It's 80 miles west of Bowling Green, Kentucky. The real Western.
So are you near Evansville?
It's about 70 miles south east of Evansville.
Well, I was born in Evansville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I go back to the heartland, man. I'm in love. It's just a great place.
Evansville's my stomping grounds in high school. I get that license. You know, we would go to Evansville to have a big weekend out.
Nice. Well, that's cool. So it's a small world.
Yeah, man. We probably ran into each other a few times.
Well, could be. Things are strange. So you start playing as a kid with your family, and from your grandmother, grandfather, all the way down to you, all different skill levels. How did your growth experience in Kentucky? Because there's like Texas country. When I lived in Louisiana, there's that, you know, Texas, Louisiana mix. And then I've noticed that Carolina it's kind of like barbecue sauce. It's very like to the region, right? I hate to put it like that, but it's kind of like the same thing. How did growing up in Kentucky really shape your musical, growth?
Well, you know, growing up in a strong Christian value home, and getting to see my family playing music and growing up like that, you know, I wasn't necessarily exposed to a lot of the new age in rock music and pop culture. It was all about that good old, you know, old school country music sound, the George Strait, you know, the Travis Tritt, you know, the Ray Stevens.
Oh my God, Ray Stevens! I've heard of him.
Dude, I grew up loving Ray Stevens because I thought
the
comedy. I thought Ray Stevens comedy
tenacious.
VHS tapes was the greatest music videos ever. You know, they are still. I'm a big fan of Ray Stevens, and got to meet him a few times during Nashville also. But you know, growing up in Kentucky, I would say in my region or my family, it shaped me who I was or who I am who my core value is. Who I am as a core person, it has been shaped from how I grew up, especially in my music career. It's my roots. I'll always go back to that. But getting further out after high school, and then the internet opens your mind, opens you up to the world, and just also outside of what's on the radio. That's another thing. Out in Western Kentucky, when I'm growing up, there's not a lot of radio stations. And what radio stations you have access to about 2 AM stations. You don't really travel anywhere. There was maybe a pop station in high school. It was 96 STO in Evansville. Didn't
That's
come
right.
in real well unless you went to the north end of the county. And everything else was a couple country stations. So that's what your influences were. You lived on what was on the radio every weekend. And yes, that really, I believe, cultivated where my roots are. But, outside of high school into college, later on in my years, the internet has allowed me to have so many more influences from all these other great artists in the world, and to listen to whomever that I want at any time. So I have lots of influences now.
How long have you been performing? Or how long have you been
Outside
an artist?
of what's that?
As an artist, as a country music artist, how long have you been doing that?
I came to Nashville in 2004. I wanted to be a performing artist and a songwriter. And I started when I was in high school, playing for tips at a local cafe in Dawson Springs, Kentucky. And it was called the Tradewater Cafe.
Oh my word.
And Tuesday nights was karaoke. And I sang karaoke a lot, enough that I had a very familiar face in town. It was a small town. And I'd bring my guitar and sit and pick a few any given day of the week and make tips. And then also my uncle owns a barber shop. He still does, in the middle of town. And he always had a guitar laying in the corner. And so every day that I had time after school, me and some friends would go down there and pick guitar. And then eventually we'd gather up a little crowd of older gentlemen getting their hair cut. That was my parlor
That's
guitar
cool,
experience.
man. That's cool.
Like they were back in the 30s playing.
They're getting
playing
their hair cut, and you're playing live for them.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I wasn't a Jimi Hendrix back then, nor am I now. So I'm sorry if I made anyone ears hurt with my tone deaf voice as a 17-year-old going through puberty. But I had a lot of fun, man, and I definitely cut my teeth on the ground roots level.
So just like anything, you paid your dues, and you got to where you are now. Look, I asked the night before this airs, I talked to Press Lieutenant. I asked her this question because now Neil Young has sold half his catalog. Bob Dylan sold his catalog for $300 million. So here's a question I had for her. I'm going to ask you the same thing because fair is fair. If I handed Clayton right now a check for $100 million, and I'd hand it to him, but he could never perform again, he could never sing again, would you take that money?
I couldn't take that.
You couldn't take it?
I couldn't take it, man. It comes down to honesty, being true to myself, and I'm not in it for the money, and nor is she in it for the money. Anyone who loves the power of music is not in it for the money.
Well, you both, had the same answer in different ways. Like this is a part of you.
Right.
Well, that's amazing.
It's really how I express myself to the world. And that's something that money can't buy, and you can't take that away from me. No matter if I was the worst guitarist in the world and the worst singer in the world, if music is how I release my feelings, then you would never be able to buy that.
All right. It's just, it's amazing how a true artist is there for the art, whether it's, painting, music, types of music.
Yeah.
That's part of them. That's what they love. And I think both you and Presley expressed that pretty well. So music is a part of you, and part of it is giving to your audience, giving to the people who are coming to listen, and it's also giving to yourself, right? You got asked to support an event called Red, White, and Ice, which is why we're talking. What was it like when you got approached about supporting that event for veterans?
I was very honored. Anyone, especially in the veteran world, that approaches me to ask me to perform at a veteran related event, I'm absolutely honored. Um, you know, if it weren't for not only our current veterans, our current active military, they're the reason that I'm able to go out in the world and perform. And if it weren't for our veterans, World War II, World War I, Vietnam, the Cold War, the Korean War, if it weren't for people fighting for our country, who knows if I would be in existence today? Our world may be completely different if we didn't have a military to back us like we do, if we hadn't had a military to back us. So I'm very grateful for the history of our military and for our current military. And just the fact that someone thinks enough of me to ask me to use my music to support them or to help them, I mean, that's a great honor. So I was very honored to be asked to play my music at this military related event.
I'm curious to ask, well, I'm curious to know, did you have any of your family, immediate, any uncles or father who served in the military?
None of my immediate family, but I have a couple of cousins that have served in the military. One is a ranger, and he's has since retired from the military. But he says, "Once a ranger, always a ranger."
There you go.
And
Rangers lead the way.
yeah, my cousin Alex also has served 8 years in the military and overseas, and isn't currently active duty, but I'm pretty sure he would go back in if needed. And
Absolutely.
so definitely having some family members in the military is it definitely not only when things happen to people that I have no relation to or don't even know, but especially by having family members of the military, it hits home whenever something happens to anyone. I'm always paying attention to it.
Well, that's really heartfelt, and I think there's a lot of people who feel that, and it's probably why you were asked to support this event. You're going to be at the Boondox. We're going to actually meet in person and talk again.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know for the people out there who are coming or interested in your music, when you perform, what can they expect? Is it like a Randy Travis type vibe? Is it more of a Charlie Daniels type vibe? Who is Clayton?
I would hope that when people see me play and perform that they say, man, this is all Clayton Q. It's not about, I love Charlie Daniels, rest his soul, and respect him highly, and anyone else. But I would hope that someone sees me and they say, wow, Clayton is his own style, and we really like him for that.
Well, the good thing is with me, Clayton, since I don't really know country music, I'm an open book. I'm gonna
see.
I'm gonna take this all in and enjoy it, because I mean you all do work very hard at your craft, and you're here for very good purpose. It's a good thing happening, and you all get to support it. So I'm curious to see. 2020 was a bust for a lot of artists across all music. I mean, it's just been brutal. But
Yeah.
it seems like with the vaccine, a couple other things that this might be changing. So, what are your plans for 2021?
Well, aside from the events at the Boondocks, I've actually got a performance debuting on the Big Love benefit concert,
Oh, wow.
streaming on Nugs TV. They've got tickets at the number 2 and then the letters nu.gs/Big Love. And it's a benefit concert benefiting sweetrelief.org, which is Sweet Relief Musicians Fund for people working in the music industry that have lost their income due to COVID. What's really cool, I was invited and asked to perform alongside Rick Allen, the drummer of Def Leppard. He actually played one of my songs with me.
Get out.
Winona, Billy Idol, Tommy Shaw of Styx was there, Matt Sorum, drummer for Guns N' Roses, Brett Michaels, and several others, the Alan Betts band, several others. And it was a very big honor for me, below the totem pole, Clayton Q, to be asked to perform with all these legends. And I flew out to California.
What's that like? I mean, you had one of the best drummers ever with one arm backing you, man.
Yeah.
What's that like when you're feeling that?
Dude, I swear this guy has 4 arms playing and 4 feet playing. And it just felt magical having Rick Allen talk to you in your headsets. And we talked on the phone several times beforehand and got some one-on-one hang time, and said, man, I'd love to have you come out and perform. I love your song Drive. And they really felt it fit well with the event. And so flew out to Oakland and got to have a rehearsal. And there were several other great acts and legends involved in that. It's just so really cool to have all of that surrounding me for that time.
And did you get to sing with Winona Ryder, or just meet her, or was she just there?
Well, Winona Judd.
Yeah, Winona Judd.
Yeah, and I didn't get to sing with her there, but I've met her several times previous to that. So it's going to be really cool to share the TV screen with her when I actually, grew up watching her on TV as well, listening to the radio.
Well, I remember her and her mom, belting it out, and I'm like, wow, these ladies can sing.
Oh yeah,
amazing. So, I mean, you're already in some ways just crushing it. This is amazing.
Well, it takes 20 years to be an overnight success, So, and it took a long. I've been in Nashville 16 years, and those have been 16 long years that I've learned so much in. And continually crafted and continue to craft and cut my teeth. I've cut my teeth on street corners and cafes and bars, and I still continue to cut my teeth on stages and festivals, and learning and becoming friends with these legends and being able to call them my mentors. Continue to learn about myself and how to grow as an artist. We got another show that's coming up in the fall. This will be our second cruise. It's called the Kinfolk Cruise, and it's Big Smo's Kinfolk Cruise, and it's mainly country rap artist, but not so much that I'm a crossover, but I have a large following in the country rap community due to playing a lot of outdoor festivals and mud festivals. There's a lot of mud parks, and they have country rap artists come, and so they still need to mix in some country music. So when they book me, I have a big fan base in that genre as well. And so this is my second time I've been invited back to come on the Kinfolk Cruise with Big Smo. So that'll take place later on in the year. I was skeptical at first how 2021 would go, but people are ready for live music and they're showing it.
Awesome. I just want to go back to one thing that you said, that it takes 20 years to be an overnight success, and not just with music and not just with country music, but in life in general. Do you find that a lot of people don't really want to put in the true grind and work to be successful, or they don't understand the level of commitment it takes to get to the level you are at now?
Everyone's story is different. And where I would say to someone who's been in Nashville the same amount of time as me, they know by now not to give up. But if they were about to give up, I would say don't, man. And just, and Nashville's different now because of COVID, but there were thousands of people flocking into Nashville. And really, with this day and age with the internet, really, your story is your story. So how you make it or what is your definition of making it. So if someone doesn't have the dedication, of course they're not going to keep pursuing and get to that level that they feel that they should be at. But like I said, everyone's path is different. I've met people that have walked into Nashville and sat down at a bar and played a song, and Toby Keith walked in and said, "Hey, I want that song." And I've met people that have been here on the grind for 10 years, and usually they say Nashville is a 10-year town. So after 10 years, people's face are, people recognize the face, the record labels and executives see their face enough. They say, "Oh, okay, maybe this guy does have the dedication. Maybe we do need to sign him." And like I said, everyone's story is different. People here for a day and get signed. People here for 20 years and don't get signed.
Well, that's amazing. I think that, speaks to different parts of, life and different pursuits, regardless of what you're doing, whether it's music
Right.
or
And
pottery or, being a doctor, it still takes that, sustained commitment.
yeah, and being signed doesn't necessarily mean that's the golden ticket. I know several artists that have never been signed to a label, and they're as happy as someone that got signed because they own all the rights to their music. They're doing well, and they're still able to go out and perform. So, I mean, they define their success based on their story, no matter how they got there.
So I'm going to see you on stage January 16th. And I'll end our conversation with this because I want to save the good stuff for when I meet you in person. But can you just describe for me as we close down, what's it like when you get on stage and you strum your instrument, you warm up your voice, and you get ready to perform?
When the music starts, I feel like I'm actually not even on the ground the entire time. Like, I've been sober my entire life, 35 years old, never drank alcohol, never done any drugs. But I would say that music is my drug of choice. It's like music's my drug of choice, and I stay high all the time. So when the music starts, I'm not even on the stage. I'm floating.
That's pretty profound, dude. I really like that. I really like that a lot. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, Clayton Q is what he's called. Never served in the military, but is giving out of his time to support veterans in the Nashville area through the Red, White, and Ice event at the Boondox in Columbia, Tennessee, January 16th. I'll have links to all his, stuff in the show post for this. You want to come by the Boondox if you're in the Tennessee area and watch him perform. Clayton, I've really had a good time getting to talk with you all, even though this is primarily a veterans show and military, affairs and history and stories. I think stories like this are something that everybody, regardless if they served or not, or thinking about serving, can relate to, because a lot of the same lessons apply. So I just want to thank you for coming by and sharing with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it very much.
Well, I will meet you very soon, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. And as we say in Oscar Mike Radio, we are mission in flight.